he had taken it over, but since he's a pig and he likes to leave food laying around, my stepmom found a chicken fried steak in his sock drawer once. And
What?
Welcome to the Squad Life Podcast. This is Brandon. We are about to begin our 9th episode, so that's pretty exciting. To my left is...
What's up, guys? It's Camper. Excited to be here once again. I have been looking forward to all week. I have been waiting to record this episode for the entire week. That was tough to say. To my left is
Jake, what's going on? I'm excited to be back. Week 9. I feel like we're starting to get better at this, so I look forward to recording each episode, like, more and more every week. To my left.
Greetings and salutations. It's Cody Lewis. I'm also excited to be with these guys recording episode 9 of the Squad Life Podcast. We have one more to go, and we will be at the big 1-0, guys.
you.
That's right. Real quick, since I didn't really say much in the intro, I do want to shout out Russell Westbrook, the NBA MVP of the 2016-2017 season.
Yep.
It's pretty exciting. Watching the first annual award show. I know, Camper, you watched it last night.
That was amazing.
It was a great show. I'm looking forward to it. Drake did an
Yeah.
amazing job.
Yep.
Will Ferrell as well for the skits. But besides that, how has y'all's week been so far?
My week has been more of the same. I'd say that it hasn't been any less exciting. I love playing a lot of golf, and I love going on hikes and seeing family. But one story in particular, for those that listen to our show regularly, and I'm so humbled that there are people that actually listen to us. But you might have noticed something was off with my sound last week. My sound quality was a little off. Hopefully it didn't make too much of a difference or ruin the enjoyment of the show, but just to tell you a little bit about how that came to be. My brother, he's a PC gamer, so he's got a similar microphone, a USB mic that I do, and my old room is where I'm currently recording this in, and since I left town, he had taken it over, but since he's a pig and he likes to leave food laying around, my stepmom found a chicken fried steak in his sock drawer once. And,
What?
Yeah, so that he's a pig. Anyway,
Oh, boy.
he got
That's kinda
booted
gross.
out of the exactly. He got booted out of this room, and he's now in a tiny little room upstairs. Anyway, I leave all my recording stuff down here, including my microphone. I don't know why he's coming down here throughout the week. I don't know, but he found my microphone, and he knows I record this podcast. He found the microphone. He thought that for some reason it was his. He thought that he had 2 of the similar microphones that he does. I don't know if he remembers buying 2 or what, but anyway, he sold it to my youngest brother for $20 and a few promises to get off the internet, and the microphone isn't worth $20, so it was a steal for my youngest brother.
I was say you got the better end of that deal.
Exactly, and so I'm trying to run around trying to find everything, setting up for recording of episode 8, our previous episode, and I find all this out. I get my microphone back. I have no time to make sure everything's in order and everything. So the settings were a little off, but I figured I'd share that with the audience that my brother just finds stuff and then thinks it's his and he sells it. So at a cheap discount, though, he would be pretty good on the black market. I would buy a lot of stuff from him. But that's been my week. Hopefully this week's sound quality is a little better. Jake, how's your week been?
It's been good. A lot of the same, like you were saying, except my weeks aren't as exciting because I have to go to work every day. But I do have to credit your brother for finding something that wasn't his and making money off of it. So good job, whoever you are.
Sounds like the government.
Yeah.
I got to say real quick, when I was I think I was in kindergarten, apparently, I don't even remember doing this, but apparently I was trading people nickels for dimes. So I was giving them my nickels and getting their dimes.
Nice.
That's amazing.
So I was making some money off of them. So
Attaboy.
I do that to little kids at the church all the time. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. But anyway, a lot of the same though. But I will say my biggest accomplishment of the week Sunday afternoon. My fiance was out of town, had a little while to kill, and I went to the car wash and washed my truck for the first time in like 3 months. So it's actually white under there. I forgot. I feel like I'm driving a new truck around right now. So that's been about my biggest accomplishment for the week. So self five there. Cody, how's your week been?
Oh boy. Well, seeing as how we're so far into the week at this point on a Tuesday, when did we record last? Was it last Wednesday or Thursday?
I believe it was Thursday.
Thursday? Okay, so it hadn't even been a week yet. But in that span of time, I have taken a lab practical, gotten together with the family to do a late Father's Day celebration, and had a test in class yesterday in medical terminology. So, Jake, I'm like you, bud. Nothing really exciting happens in the life of a student. But so that's been my week thus far.
That's cool. For me, we had some guests over Saturday for dinner, so that was a lot of fun getting to catch up with them. Besides that, haven't really been doing much because, like you said, it's just now Tuesday. Hasn't even been a full week. Today I went for a 10-mile run, which is the farthest that I've run since completing the half marathon. How long ago, Cody? It's been a while.
3-4 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while, and my knees and my ankles and every inch of me is hurting right now. So just trying to add some interesting stuff to my workout routine, which I'll get to later. There's actually some funny story to that, but that's pretty much been my week. So glad that we're all back here. I'm glad that we're doing our 9th episode, which is just, like you said, crazy. It's like clockwork now. Yep. So I hope you are enjoying it at this point. All right, we're going to move into our main topics, and this week, Camper Cobra is going to deliver our first. What you got for us this week, Camp?
Yeah, so as the listeners know, I've mentioned many times, I'm still visiting family here in Montana, and I mentioned last week, it was last week, that I've been outside a lot more. I've been doing a lot more hiking, and I've done some hiking in the past. You guys know, the listeners don't, that I actually took a 5-day hiking trip down into the Grand Canyon and then hiked around in it for the middle 3 days and then hiked out. So, I enjoy doing kind of outdoors activities. Would you guys consider yourselves kind of in the same boat? Do you also enjoy spending time outdoors?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sweet. I think there's actually a lot of people that do that. My only complaint is that all 4 of us live in Mississippi, where there's not a whole lot to do compared to other states such as Montana or Colorado, or I'm sure you could even go outside in some of the Midwestern states. But I think that a good topic for us to cover, since we all consider ourselves lovers of the outdoors and just doing stuff outside, kind of doing a main topic centered around the outdoors. And in order to do that, I want to tell the fans or the listeners a little bit about exercising or doing outside activities in the wilderness or national parks or something, just outside of your gym or even outside of your home, kind of the benefits of that, also a little bit of the cons, and then jump into a more established part of the segment where we each get to talk about kind of our dream trips to doing outdoor stuff. That'll make sense as we go along. I really could never figure out a way to word it. But as far as exercising or doing outdoor activities, this could include anything from biking to hiking, even running outside. You could do mountain climbing. There's all sorts of things, whitewater rafting, kayaking, canoeing, even things such as hunting or fishing or camping, just spending time outdoors. Some of the benefits that come along with doing your physical activities outside rather than inside, I wrote them down here. It's just common sense. First of all, if you do it outside, it's cheaper than a gym. Of course, you'd have to invest in some gear, some quality running shoes and everything, but you're not paying a monthly membership. That's check one in favor of outside. Second thing is that there is sunshine. Now, for those that live in Mississippi, that may not be the best time to do outdoor activities, especially in the summer, because it is humid in the daytime,
Yes.
even humid in the nighttime, but significantly less or significantly more tolerable to do it in the evening. But you do get to experience sunshine and actually go outside. There's also natural beauty. I love doing physical activities on a mountain, so I like hiking, climbing, all sorts of things, going on trail, off trail, and all that. So I just love seeing the beauty of nature. Also, I feel adventurous. So, if I'm on a treadmill and I'm running for a mile, 2 miles, I'm not a runner, so I can't run a whole lot. I just don't feel as accomplished or as adventurous as I do if I go run a mile or two outside, right? I feel like I'm actually going somewhere and accomplishing something. I'm also sightseeing along the way. And then lastly, I just put in favor of going outside. It's a sense of conquering. So I told the listeners last week that I climbed up the side of a mountain. I got to see a beautiful landscape of the city that I grew up in. I got to point out all the buildings that were significant in my childhood, and I just felt a sense of conquering, right? Kind of like Cortez when he landed in Mexico or wherever he landed, I'm not sure. There's a sense of conquering there. You don't get that at the gym. But all that said, there are some cons that should be mentioned along with the pros. First off, according to my research, and this is just personal, that I have no background in science, you have a 99% chance or higher chance of being attacked by a bear while you exercise outside than you do inside. So that is a con. So you got to watch out for some of the wildlife outside as well. I think that you can get injured a lot easier outside as well. But all that said, I think it just boils down to, do you like to spend time outdoors? And if you do, go outside and do whatever you love doing. If you love to ride a bike for God knows what purpose, I don't know. God gave us knees for a reason. So if you want to do some sort of activity and you need a bike, then go ahead and do that.
You could ride a horse outside.
No, because you're not doing anything.
And not where I ran today. They don't let you ride horses on the trails. So
Yeah, the horses poop everywhere, so please don't bring your horse on any sort of hiking or running trail. But
please, because literally that's what I smelled for like a very large portion of it. So please don't.
So go out and do what you love doing it outside. If you don't have anything that you love, you probably haven't tried any of it. So my advice is just go out and do you. If you're a physical person that likes to go running, likes to hike or even biking, go out and do that and go to places that you like to spend time around. So for me, if I were to spend or if I were to go on a trip, so this is kind of the transition into us being outdoors people, moving from us advocating for the listeners to go outside and do physical activities or even just go outside in general. This is kind of moving into now what would we encourage you doing? For me, I love hiking. So there's actually, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I mentioned the Continental Divide when I mentioned Lewis and Clark. Kind of it runs pretty much along the Rocky Mountain range. That's it. So essentially from Arizona, even down into Mexico, up into Canada, there's the Rocky Mountains. On the Continental Divide that runs through that, there is a hiking trail that you can take from Colorado, maybe even down into Arizona, and take it all the way up to Canada. And a lot of kind of like the Appalachian Trail on the East Coast. But that is a dream of mine, is starting from the base of one of the mountains, hiking up to the Continental Divide Trail, and then hiking into Canada. And that would be a summer-long adventure. I would, of course, be living off the things that I pack into the backpack on my back, and I like that kind of stuff. I would prefer on long trips to do it with other people. I probably wouldn't do it myself, but that is my dream trip. I believe, Spicy, we got you next. If you were given one trip to go anywhere and to do anything outside, what would you do?
Okay, so I'm not the typical, well, I'm not the outdoorsy type that has become popular, that is, into the hiking, into, they've got all the gear and the proper hiking shoes and all that. And I do enjoy hiking. I do. I mean, when I'm on vacation, I love the Smoky Mountains. We always do some hiking trails there. But if I was given a dream trip, and what would I do? That's tough. I thought about this all week because I love the Smokies so much. I could go there. I could live there. I love those kind of mountains. I've been to the Rockies. I've been to the Smokies. I've been to the Smokies numerous times, but I've been to the Rockies twice now. I've seen them twice anyway. And I would have to say that I would rather go to the Smokies, just to be honest. But anyway, my dream trip, to be honest with you, would be a hunting trip, probably to the Rockies. I would love to go on an elk hunting trip there. I think that would be, really cool to just go out there on a guided trip and just walk around on these mountains looking and calling for elk for, 3 or 4 days and, following one big elk and trying to get a shot on it. I've seen all these hunting shows about it. I've read stories about it, and it sounds like it is just incredibly cool, just a neat experience. And that was tough for me because I love doing hunting, I love fishing. Having to just narrow it down to one thing. But that would probably be, if somebody said, I will pay for you to go on a trip, on any kind of hunting trip, any kind of fishing trip, any kind of trip, that would probably be the one I would go on.
Sweet. What about you, Cody?
Well, if I had to pick just one trip, that's kind of hard for me because I just like the outdoors in general, whether it be doing, yard work, working outside, recreational type stuff, whether it be hiking, biking, just taking a nice walk outside in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter to me. But if I had to pick one destination, it would probably be somewhere like Costa Rica, Dominican Republic. I've been to both of those places on a mission trip. A Hispanic country, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because I love the culture of Hispanic countries, and the best way to experience that is to get outside and walk around in the city, walk around in the village, just kind of see what's going on.
Got you.
And I would definitely want to do it with other people. I'm not the most social person out there, but on a big trip like that, I feel like it'd be better to go with a group of people. So that's what I have.
I got you. They got some mountains there in, which one's more mountainous? Costa Rica, you would say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Costa Rica. Because Jake, didn't we end up taking like a bus ride through some mountains and...
Yeah, we went up. I think we actually got so high we could see Nicaragua.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, at a certain point we could look over like some bodies of water, and then see Nicaragua on the other side.
Dang.
So that was pretty cool.
You.
Costa Rica is very beautiful.
It is.
I got you.
And not to the USA is very pretty too. I would like to say that I would take a trip to another state, but I like the culture, like I was saying, of a different country. Just to experience the difference in the way we go about daily life and the way they go about daily life.
Okay. Brandon, what you got?
Well, first off, I think we can all agree that mountains and canyons are greater than beaches. And if we don't agree with that, we're no longer friends.
I agree with that.
I agree.
There are sharks in water, and
they're
very... once you've seen one ocean, you've seen them all.
Right.
Yes.
In my opinion.
And there are not sharks in the mountains.
That's right.
Sand gets everywhere.
Everywhere.
There is such thing as bear spray. I've never heard of shark spray.
Right.
So, but for me, if I could just pack up my bags and do something, tomorrow, it would definitely be involving hiking and canoeing, and it would definitely be like a canyon or mountains. That's when I go on vacation. I want to go to the mountains. Like, that's just my go-to thing. I know us guys have been talking about, doing a canyon trip for a long time. And I really want to do that because, the canyons are just so beautiful. Being able to kind of canoe through them, that would be, a lot of fun. But anything that has that kind of scenery. If you're getting outside the United States, doing something like in Italy or Jerusalem or Israel, just very scenic places that you just want to go outside. You don't want to be in your hotel. You don't want to be wherever you're staying. You just want to be in it. So I mean, that's personally what I would want to do. But like I said, I really want it to involve a lot of hiking, a lot of canoeing, a lot of walking, climbing if it needs to be. I don't know. Everybody knows who Jared Leto is. He did a documentary about mountain climbing, and I was very envious during that watching that documentary. One of the guys actually just broke a record for the tallest free climb without wires and stuff. And like, I'd be crazy enough to do something like that if I could, but don't tell Debbie. But, just something like that, just being out in it. I think there's just something in us as humans that wants to do that, and if there's not, there needs to be a reality check.
And what was the name of his documentary series again? I forgot.
I have no idea. I was gonna say it,
the
but
Great something.
I don't.
Anyway,
know.
That's a good thing about Google. You could just Google Jared Leto hiking documentary.
Yeah,
or
I was about to say
documentary.
to all the listeners out there, once we figure out the name of this thing, go YouTube it. I think it's like a 5, 6, 7-part mini documentary series. It's fantastic.
I would like to add something real quick since Brandon and Cody both threw this in there. I've been to Costa Rica and I've been to the Dominican Republic. Both of those were on mission trips, but I did get to see a decent amount of scenery and see obviously the biggest thing was to see the culture change, like Cody was talking about. But I will have to say, it's funny because I was actually talking to my sister about this today and didn't even think about this part of the show coming up. To be honest with you, really, unless just God says, "Hey, I need you to go, over there, over here," I really don't want to leave the United States again. To be honest with you, I don't know. I feel more comfortable here, and I've been, got to go on a trip last year, got in a bus and drove from Mississippi to Utah, so I got to see a lot of America's scenery, and it's got everything,
The funny thing about it though, Jake, is so does the rest of the world, and a lot of the stuff that the world has, the rest of the world has, the United States doesn't have. So
hey,
they're
Jake.
just cameras. I can look at pictures of it.
But the documentary was called Great Wide Open.
That's right.
So look that up on YouTube. It's a multi-part mini documentary with Jared Leto. So
I'm gonna check that out.
You will not be disappointed.
Were you gonna say something, Cameron?
Oh yeah, it was just in response to you saying that you would never leave America, and you know your fiance better than I do, but I get the sense that Ashlyn is like a traveling kind of person, that she would be the person that would want to see the world, and you would just be the grouchy old man on your couch that says, "Nope, not leaving America."
Her and her mother have actually mentioned going to Europe, at some point in their life, and I'm just kind of like, y'all can go, I'll stay at home.
Are you seriously
Jake
gonna pass
reminds
on
me.
that?
Jake reminds me of my father-in-law. Like, if you were to go to my father-in-law and be like, "Hey, you want to take a trip?" He's like, "Where you want to go? To the supermarket?" Like, he's such a homebody. Like, he doesn't want to do a whole lot of that stuff. He is now that he's retired, but you just remind me of that old soul. Like, he's an old soul. Like,
and I don't mind, going. Like I said, I love going to the Smoky Mountains. I mean, I think that's the most beautiful place on the planet. And I'll go down to the beach for a few days, down to Destin or Gulf Shores. But you want to go across the water, and I'll stay at home.
Oh man, it reminds me of Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec when he was forced to go over to London.
oh, Ireland, man! When he went to Ireland, they did that was beautiful. I'd go there.
Yeah, but just to close out the topic, we are all advocates of going outside, doing what we love. So we want to encourage you in doing that, whether it's something recreational, such as hunting, fishing, or even camping, or even something a little bit more sporty, if you want to climb, hike, take out your bike, or even just put on some running shoes and run. Go outside, enjoy the summer that you have left, that you can actually do some stuff outside if you live in areas such as Montana, and just spend some time outside. But that's my topic for the week. Brandon, I think you have the next one.
I just wanted to add real quick that, you know, if none of that sounded very fun to you at all, whether it be hiking, running, biking, I've seen people on unicycles take on like mountainous trails. So if that's your thing, go ahead with that.
Wow. I could never do that.
You're a lot more talented than me.
All right. All right, we're about to take this to a whole different direction, and I mean that to the fullest sense of that phrase. And so moving from mountains and hiking and all that, we're going to go into superheroes, superpowers, supervillains. We're going to go into that kind of area. You know, when you hear superheroes, you think Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, The Flash, Captain America. You think of all these great, you know, heroes that came at really rich points of history, you know, World War II and stuff like that. And when you hear supervillains, you think of the Joker and Thanos and Darkseid and just all these terrifying supervillains whenever you start like reading up on them. I mean, the comics are dark, but for every good written hero or villain, there is a bad one. So I'm going to introduce some of these horrible written heroes / villains.
I'm so ready for this.
I'm excited about this.
I've got 6 right here. These are 6 that I've actually known about for a long time. I've read the comics that they're involved in, and I'm going to share them with you. The number 1 on my list, and these are not in any order of ridiculousness, but is Bouncing Boy. He debuted in 1961 as a part of DC Comics. His superpower is that he can inflate into a ball, like a beach ball. Very, very horribly written. Can't do a whole lot with that. He just kind of bounces up and kind of bounces from place to place. So yeah, that's the first one. Now the second one.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Yes.
Good, because we're gonna move on to the second one. The second one's just as ridiculous, if not more. This, you think, gosh, DC, this definitely puts you lower than Marvel. Marvel's been there. I-E-I-E, as in your eyeball, Scream, premiered in 1983 as a part of X-Men under Marvel. His superpower, and he is a mutant, so this is his mutant power, is that he can turn into any flavor of ice cream. Hence the name I Scream.
No.
You know, if you're facing Magneto, I mean, at least he can't control you because you're not metal. But
No, you made that one up.
no, that's real, man.
So
that is
What's
real.
he supposed to do?
So he just turned. How do you turn
if
into a
Magneto
flavor?
comes at you, if Magneto comes at you, be like, you want some chocolate? Turn into some chocolate ice cream. Cheer the man up.
Gonna distract him. And like, hey, I get some strawberry ice cream.
Oh my
Now this one's not as ridiculous to me. I think it could be useful. I would want it. If it was offered to me, I would take it. It's another DC Comics, Matter Eater Lad. His ability is that he can eat through anything. During his first appearance in 1963, he was talking with Superman. They had a little exchange, and he ate through a fence.
Wow.
And I don't know. I'm not sure how the digestive tract works. If that comes out the other side, so if he eats a brick wall,
Oh boy.
if he's gonna literally poop a brick.
Oh boy.
What was his name?
Matter, like Matter, Eater Lad.
Wow. He sounds like a
And
goat
the costumes
superhero.
on the costume on all of these people are just as ridiculous.
That one just rolls off the tongue.
Now to the 4th out of the 6th is Arm Fall Off Boy,
No.
and the name is what it is. It's another DC Comics hero. His arm literally can fall off. He can use it. In one of the comics, he takes his arm off and beats somebody with his arm that he took off. Which, to me, is really redundant because you could have just used it before taking it off, but they do regenerate.
Right,
They do come back.
Okay, so he can take it off,
hilarious.
but it's not something he can put back on. It just grows back.
It just it's kind of a regenerative thing.
It's kind of like a lizard with
Yeah.
his tail.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
What does he do?
I
with
really don't get the
That's
fact that he took an arm off just to beat somebody with it. What, Camper?
Oh, what does he do with the arms that he does take off if new ones grow back?
Man, that's a good question. There's probably some dungeon full of arms or something, or maybe donate them. I mean, you could donate them.
Yeah.
It'd be prosthetic or something. I don't know if we mastered that science or not, but
Arm transplant.
it could happen. This next one you may have heard of because it is a very popular one. It's actually a Batman villain. These other ones have been heroes, but this is a Batman villain, and his name is the Condiment King.
Nope, never heard of
And
it.
he uses ketchup and mustard, as well as other condiments, as a weapon.
Oh, no.
I actually would not mind him kind of having a guest room in my house. I could go over there whenever I'm making a sandwich or a burger and be like, "Hey, Condiment King, hit me."
Or like make him mad, and then as a shield to not get squirted with a condiment, just hold up like a hamburger. Like, thanks, Condiment Man,
Condiment King.
Condiment King.
He's a king. Which begs the question: if he's a king, is there a queen? Is there a condiment queen?
Would we have to refer to him as?
Bigger question is the condiment queen somehow connected to Dairy Queen?
Oh, cousins.
Ooh.
They're cousins
I
from
like
different countries. Would we
alias.
have to refer to him as Your Highness?
I don't know. He's kind of a weird one. Now this last one, I really want to kind of visually see this one. It's called the Hypno-Hustler, which is actually a pretty baller name in my opinion. I would not mind being named as the Hypno-Hustler. He appeared. He's a Marvel Comics villain. He appeared in Spider-Man. They actually need to do him as a villain, in my opinion, in one of these upcoming Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. But he has the power to use disco to hypnotize.
Yeah.
So this man breaks out in disco dancing and puts on some outrageous hypnotizing. Like,
Wow.
you're just walking down the street and you see this guy do hypno and you're like, okay, you got me. What you want me to do?
You got me.
You got me. But anyway, that's just a couple. I would encourage you that if you're just having a bad day or you're really bored or whatnot, just look up some of these heroes because, yes, Marvel and DC are some of the greatest comic book stories in the world, and they've always come at great times. After 9/11, they had that special Captain America, Spider-Man issue where they just wrote in how great the responders were and stuff like that. In World War II, you had people like Captain America and Wonder Woman who came at a time where the country really needed something to take their mind off of the issues that were going on. Even now, with the issues that are going on, comics are a great place for people to kind of go to get their minds off of things. But there are some bad in there too. I think the comics have been around for a while, so I would encourage you just to, if you're having a bad day or something like that, go through some of these and just look how ridiculous they are. Because I did not. There are over 100 of these ridiculous heroes / villains. So just find you a list or something like that. But to kind of incorporate some more discussion, my question to you guys is: if you had a ridiculous superpower, what would it be and how would you use it? So let's, for example, say that I'll just go ahead and do mine just to kind of give you the flow. If I had a ridiculous superpower, I would want to be Sandwich Man. Like, I would want the ability to snap my fingers and a sandwich, whatever sandwich I want, just to pop right in front of me. Like, if I wanted that McAllister's pepper jack cheese, snap my fingers, I want it right there. And I would actually be a villain because I would also snap my fingers to make sandwiches and then sell them at ridiculously high prices to other people. Be like, you want a sandwich? Good. You want a good one? You want one?
And
that'd be $500.
and then charge them extra. Charge them extra for a side. That always makes me mad.
The downside of, like, every hero or villain has a drawback. Superman, Kryptonite. Mine would be that I would be probably 600 pounds after eating all these sandwiches. Anyway, Camper, what you got, man?
I have thought about this all day today, and I've had some trouble coming up with a specific power for most of it. I did finally come up with one. It's not humorous, really, in my opinion. It's actually kind of dumb, but I guess that's the point. my ability, I think more along the lines of combat. I'm sure you could throw your sandwiches at people. That'd be really cool. How fast could you shoot sandwiches? But I would have the ability to explode whenever I wanted to, and not cause a lot of damage. Just my whole body would explode into a million pieces, and then after like 20 minutes, all the little atoms from my body would like float back together, and then I'd reappear. So the downside would be I'd obviously have to wait 20 minutes. So it's kind of a last resort, which doesn't make for a great superpower. But
Well, you could always surprise people at your funeral too. Like you would die, and they would hold a funeral, and you'd be like, "Surprise! I'm not dead."
right. So with that, I think comes the ability. Say someone cut me in half 20 minutes later. So I feel like I'm somewhat invincible. So that's my power. Jake, I want to hear yours really bad.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have to ask. So
Yes.
if you were to be cut in half, 20 minutes later, you just kind of reform. What happens in that 20 minutes? Are you just conscious and you're thinking, man, I really wish these 20 minutes would hurry up. The fighting's still going on over there. I can see it, but I can't do anything about it.
The world would be doomed, honestly, if you were the only hero.
But I would not be. And that's the greatest superhero.
I'm
is
sorry,
one
I
who
just
is
had to ask.
not screwed when the rest of the world is.
So I was thinking about this, and I was trying to think of something that would be really neat, like to be able to do, but just not very useful. And it's kind of like what Brandon was saying with the sandwich thing. That would be incredibly awesome. I got a sandwich right here. I can't snap, so it was me snapping. If you could hear that. Anyway, yeah, there you go. And it's ironic because the very first character, which I did not, or hero that Brandon mentioned, I didn't realize this was even a thing, was Bouncing Boy. And I was thinking to myself today, I just was thinking that the most unuseful thing you could do if somebody was trying to fight you is jump. Like, I just feel like, you could jump and you could like avoid the fighting for a minute, but then you got to come back down. Like, I feel like you're not going to accomplish anything. Like, you could jump like super high, but you just come right back down. If you follow what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's called gravity.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't fly. You just jump. And, you can, I don't care how high you jump, but, you're just going to come back down. And I just feel like that would be really dumb. What are you going to do with that? But I didn't realize that there's actually a superhero that just bounces around.
You could jump high enough to clear the atmosphere and like just kind of float off into space.
Well, then you die.
That could be your last resort. Not unless you're a camper. If you're a camper.
So is that
true.
is that your superpower?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I thought it's supposed to be a stupid superpower. Stupid superpower, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But mine's not stupid though. I could team up with the Condiment King and we can actually have some production going on there.
Yeah, that's Batman and Robin material.
Well,
I'm definitely the Batman in that scenario.
No, you're Sandwich Man.
I'd come up with a cooler name.
I do want to say though, the Hypno. What was he? The Hypno what?
Hypno-Hustler, man.
Hustler. Yes, that's cool. If I was a superhero, I would want to be the Hypno-Hustler because I
There you
looked up
go.
the pictures. He's got his pink guitar. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right, Cody, what you got?
Well, I also have been trying to think of something all day, and I think probably like right before we started recording, I came to a conclusion that my superpower would be able to assemble furniture out of thin air, kind of like what you said with the sandwich, right? So I like to build furniture. I like carpentry, so I would just like snap my fingers and boom, end table right there.
But then you wouldn't enjoy carpentry anymore. Because you didn't
I
do
would
anything.
enjoy it because it takes too long to build something.
Well,
Yeah.
you could make money like that.
See, exactly, yeah.
But
Well,
if somebody was, attacking you, wouldn't you really do you much good?
I could like snap my fingers and make I don't know, what's something big that you would build out of wood? Like a house, just like a log cabin. I could snap my fingers in a log cabin.
Well, you said furniture. You didn't say
Yeah, I've
anything
never
about
heard of
real
the
estate.
house furniture.
The
But
check out this new furniture piece I've got. It's
think about it,
3,000
Cody.
square feet.
You are the master of running away. Like, if you're trying to run away from something, you want to, like, push a desk in front of their path behind you, like, as you're running. So, like, you're the master of that. You see it in all the movies.
I really feel
Nice.
I feel like we just made something here, guys. We are now the new Justice League. We've got Sandwich Man, a super explosive guy, the Hypno-Hustler version 2,
And I'm the
and
furniture.
then Woodstock, the furniture man.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I was gonna say furniture friend, but I like Woodstock.
Together we could do some amazing
Yeah.
things. But anyway, that's what I've got this week. I hope you found it entertaining. And if you want to tweet us or contact us on Facebook, let us know what your superpower. It has to be ridiculous because ours were. Because obviously I'm pretty sure we could have a separate discussion on what our actual desired superpowers would be for another day. But yeah, just go ahead and drop what your superpower would be. Would you be a hero, villain, and how would you use it? But anyway, that's going to round up our main topics, and we're going to move into our individual segments. 'Cause I think you have the first one, Spicy.
That's correct. I'm gonna try to keep this kind of brief, but I want to go ahead and introduce something that I know we're going to be talking about a lot in the future. I know we've got a few listeners out there that are going to want to hear us argue about this. And I know that a couple of these guys are going to want to argue with me about it. Maybe one a little more than the other. But I want to talk briefly about how much better the SEC is than every other conference. I just want to point out the fact real
Oh my
quick
gosh.
that
Hold on, real quick. Before you even get any further, what are you talking about? Are you talking football?
No,
Are you
he's-
talking baseball?
all
Are you
sports,
talking-
I bet.
What are you talking about?
everything.
Oh, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Just-
That's the
let's
stupidest
just-
thing I've ever heard.
Let's just look at it. Obviously, there's.
Before you even get into it, are you an SEC fan? Or are you a Mississippi State fan?
Oh, I'm a Mississippi
Like,
State.
just answer that right.
I'm a Mississippi State fan, obviously, but we play in the best
Okay.
conference.
So you go for their rivals.
No.
Okay, well that's okay. Whatever. Go ahead.
So, obviously, there's going to be programs that are better than others at certain sports. Alabama, for example, and football. But let's just look at it real quick. Just this past academic season, the SEC played for a football national championship, and they lost to Clemson. They had one team in the Final Four in South Carolina. They had, in the women's basketball tournament, 2 SEC teams playing for the championship. In baseball right now, we've got 2 SEC teams playing for the SEC or playing for the national championship. And I was thinking there's one other sport I'm missing out there, one big one, maybe not. But there are other sports that the SEC dominates at. The SEC, in my opinion, is just head and shoulders over everybody else as a whole. There's teams out there that are better than other teams from the conference, but as a whole, the SEC is better than the ACC, better than the Big Ten, obviously better than the Big 12, because they can't even count. Neither can the Big Ten. But I just want to get Brandon's thoughts on this real quick. He was the main one I was targeting this at. So, what's going through your mind right now? Brandon looks kind of. I think his face is red, to be honest with you.
For the listeners out there, real quick,
I wouldn't say
his
that
face
it's
is
red.
is like contorted into this weird, like, I really want to say something really bad right now, but he had to hold back until Jake asked him, and now the floodgates are going to be unleashed.
Where do I start?
So go for it.
I wouldn't say that I'm angry. Jake's ignorance is just expected by now in terms of sports. Like, Camper and I don't even try with him anymore. Like, he makes stupid statements like that. Now, I will say the SEC is packed with talent. You know, you've got Alabama, and then you've got teams like Kentucky. But to make the statement that the SEC is the best all around in every single sport is very ignorant to me. First of all, what do you consider a sport? Because if you're talking about like swimming and track and golf and all that, they're not even close in those categories, in my opinion, because the Big 12 and Big 10 and all these other, conferences are dominating those. But if you're talking the major sports, just that track popularity or whatnot, I will say that the SEC is high up there. But the Big Ten was one of the most powerful conferences. Now, they kind of exposed some weaknesses towards the end of the season, but the SEC is just blessed with having Alabama, having teams like in basketball, Kentucky, baseball, like South Carolina and LSU. They're just blessed with those kind of things. But I would not say the statement that they're just the all-around best. Like, that's just a Jake Lee statement. And I'm not even gonna dig into the Jake Lee psychology of going for teams that he does not like just because they are in the same conference with him. Like, are you trying to justify Mississippi State sucking that bad that you just say, well, hey, they're in the best conference? Like, I'll have an excuse.
Well, let me say.
We have to play Alabama every year. We still suck, but we have to play Alabama.
Let me say real quick. Mississippi State, you say the SEC is blessed with Alabama, which they do make the SEC better. They bring in a lot of money for the SEC. But I will say I don't think there's a team that suffers more from Alabama than Mississippi State because I think 87 miles, I think, is how far we are from them. We're closer to them than we are Oxford. So we're recruiting a lot of the same area.
Thank you for the geography lesson.
We're recruiting a lot of the same area, and they have so much more history, and they've got such a
Here we go.
better.
Excuses.
Nick
No,
Saban is such a great recruiter.
Stop.
Go ahead. I'm just saying from the area. From the
Alabama's
area. I know what you're going to say.
Alabama's recruiting area is from Washington to Florida.
Right.
Exactly.
Correct.
If it's
And other teams, not just Alabama and Mississippi, recruit in Mississippi and Alabama. You have like Texas and
Correct.
Ohio State and Florida and all these other teams. They recruit in the same area.
Correct.
oh my gosh,
But-
you're trying to tell me that Alabama's biggest competition or Mississippi State's biggest competition for recruits in this area is Alabama. I mean, how many 5-stars come out of this area each year between the two schools in the 87 miles that you just said? Each year.
How many 5-stars from that area? From that 87 mile stretch? Not very many, but that greater area, probably on average 3. From like the
Okay,
Jackson metro area to the Birmingham metro area. And guess who gets those 3 5-stars every year? Alabama.
The better school. the one that sets them up for better success in the future. The better coach.
And then you've got
the better school, the better program, more history, more championships.
And then you've got Ole Miss up the road that's like 20 minutes from Memphis, and they get all the Memphis recruits that aren't 5-stars, but they're good athletes. So that's just dumb.
Yeah.
So we just have to
Okay,
coach our
is
3-stars.
this trying to justify Mississippi State or is this trying to justify the SEC?
No, it turned into justifying Mississippi State because
Yeah.
we're going to be back this year, but just watch. Mark my words. You can
Okay,
laugh
so
now.
Okay. Yeah, he says that every year.
I didn't say it. I
this
didn't
is
say it
running-
last year. I didn't say it last year. You know I did.
This is running a little longer than expected. I will add my 2
Well-
cents. Very, very briefly. Jake, who's the second best football program in the SEC?
Currently, like,
Obviously.
probably
So
LSU
so you're
is in the
telling
best
me
shape
that
anyway.
that your argument, one of the arguments that you used, that SEC is the greatest conference ever because it had Alabama in the title game, because Alabama's always there, and it took you 10 seconds to think of the second best program in the SEC. Is that because they're all up there with Alabama, or maybe there's a lot of separation between Alabama and the rest of the pack?
Well, there's a lot of no, for real. There is a lot of changing going on right now. You know there is. You can laugh all you want to, but LSU has been at the top. Florida's been at the top. Georgia's been at the top. Right there, always, usually top 15 in the country finishes, but the terrain's starting to change. Auburn has been at the top a lot, and they're starting to make their way back up. They've fallen down.
You're right. The terrain is starting to change. You have teams like Clemson, Ohio State, Florida State,
Penn
Notre
State,
Dame,
USC.
Texas, Oklahoma. All these USC, all Penn State, all these teams are coming up. Wisconsin, I can keep naming them. that are coming up that aren't in a change mode, that are getting recruits, that are getting the coaches, that are getting the wins. You're sitting here talking about, well, we're in a change mode right now, so the best competition from Alabama is kind of far down there with LSU.
Well,
took you like 10, 15 seconds to even name LSU.
Well, if you want to talk about programs on the rise that are getting better recruits, better coaching, look at Starkville. They're starting to bring in some 4 stars and 5 stars. So just watch out.
Oh my gosh, Texas is doing the same thing. We just recruited the nation's fastest wide receiver. Jake
That's
Lee gets
expected
excited
from Texas,
when
though.
Mississippi State gets a. I know, but he gets excited when Mississippi State gets a recruit, but he doesn't realize, and he's like, "Well, we're going to be good in a couple of years because we're getting good recruits." What he doesn't realize is so is almost every other major program.
Correct.
Like they're not the only ones that are getting good recruits.
Right.
But we're gonna have to
Right.
wrap this up
Real
here
quick.
pretty soon.
Right.
So go ahead and do your rebuttal.
I knew this was going to be like this. That's why you called it an intro to our future arguments. But anyway, the thing about Mississippi State is we've been able to accomplish what we've accomplished in the last 8 years, not 7 years, with 3 and 4, like 4-star at the max. Like 4 stars just didn't come. It was all 3 stars. So once you start winning, you start bringing those higher recruits in there, and it's going to help you.
You had one good season, great season. Other than that, it's been laughable.
Well, back-to-back 9-win seasons.
So
are
we're gonna
pretty
move
good,
on.
so.
We're gonna move on.
Anyway,
we're gonna move on, Jake. We're moving on.
We'll be back.
All right, Cody, what you got for us this week?
All right. Well, at this point in the podcast, I would normally kind of review an awkward situation that has happened during the week, and thankfully, or not so thankfully, however you want to look at it, nothing has really happened since the time of our last recording.
4 days?
Do what say? Oh, it's only Tuesday,
Yeah.
so we still have 3 days left during the week. So I may have
Congrats.
something by the next. Do what? May have something by the next recording session. But today I would like to talk a little bit about. It kind of goes along with Camper's main topic on getting outside and enjoying the outdoors, and he mentioned the Rocky Mountains. So supposedly, this I believe he's 87 at this point, 86, 87-year-old veteran has hidden a treasure in the Rocky Mountains, right? So it's in like a bronze, it says a bronze Romanesque chest. It's, I believe that there's like over $1 million worth of gold coin jewels in this chest. And he has written a poem it's like a 24-line poem containing like 9 clues as to where this treasure is hidden. A lot of people have gone searching for it. 2 people have died searching for it. And I think that the 4 of us should go searching for it.
I agree.
Dang.
I don't know. I just don't think it exists. First, I have problems believing in it. If he would have established that it was a real thing to begin with, if he had taken a picture of it or something, or he would have explained how he got it in detail that had documentation for that, I'm not going to go waste my time or even risk my life because, like you said, just the past week or past month, there was a guy that died, trying to search for it.
Yeah. But, I mean, see, if this thing is real, I don't think he would have hidden it to where that death is right around the corner. Right? I think he would have hidden it somewhat safely. You just have to put the clues together.
See, I saw this headline. Sorry, Cameron. I'll
You good?
keep this brief. I saw this story and I read it, and I gotta say, if I had the money to just take off for 2 months, I would have already left. I don't care if it's real or not. If I just find the location and it's not there, I just well, at least I was smart enough to figure out where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, right. And I think I was reading an article online just before we started recording, and he was saying that a lot of people have a lot of people gone searching for it, and those who haven't found it, one of their reasons behind not finding it is, it's a hoax. Well, he says he doesn't really respond to those type of people because he doesn't, maybe it is a hoax and he just doesn't want to admit to it. But I think he's just trying to keep the mystery going. His main reason for doing this is just to get families together and get them active, get them to experience the outdoors, like we were talking about earlier. So it's a noble cause, but it probably could have been executed better.
I just want some document that it exists.
I want to go on the record that say Brandon Ward would make a terrible pirate. Because pirates did not just sit around waiting for documentation. They got a treasure map,
but they
and
also
they
had maps. Yeah, they also had they knew that it was there.
You got a poem.
No,
Put the clues together.
They did not know it was there. How do you know? Have you talked to a pirate?
Well, they had maps.
Okay, there's a map. There's a map with a poem.
Yeah, but we're not living in the day of pirates. This is a guy who could have taken pictures, who could have documented it, who could have done something to show me that this thing is
He's
real.
old school.
They could.
He's a veteran.
You don't deserve to get the treasure, Brandon.
He's almost 90 years old. He's not going to go on the Twitter or on the face of Snap or Chapagram.
Well, he's been on TV. He's been all over the TV. He could have done something to prove it. Then
You don't deserve the treasure, Brandon.
I would also like to add that I wish I had enough money to just go hide $1 million in the woods somewhere.
Right, yeah.
It's a nice problem to have.
Well, see, I think right before he did this, he was diagnosed with terminal kidney cancer, I believe is what it was, and he thought, well, I'm on my last leg, so I might as well just do something crazy. Well, the cancer went into remission, and so he had to kind of, I think before that he was wanting to go out into like the West with a bottle of pills and treasure with him that way, and just kind of pass away and leave clues to find his dead body and the treasure, I guess. But that was when the cancer went into remission, and he had to think of a different strategy. So this is what he came up with: just hide it in the Rocky Mountains somewhere.
Huh.
Interesting.
But I believe that the four of us, if we really wanted to, we could find this treasure.
Hey, Brandon, maybe this is what we can do for my bachelor trip.
Hey, put it down, man. I'd be willing to do it.
All right.
Although if somebody starts coming at me with a gun, I'm tripping you.
I'll take mine. It'll be all right.
We'll use campers as a superpower, and he can explode.
But it better do the.
We don't need dynamite. We've got campers.
It better do the trick the first time though, because you got to wait 20 minutes before you can do anything else.
I'll just jump and hold you two while he explodes.
Right.
All right. Well, that's what I had as my individual segment. I think Brandon, what are you going to talk about today?
Yeah. I don't have any movie things or anything like that, but I do want to share just stuff that goes on and as part of being a dad. I call it dad life moments. As I was sharing earlier, Debbie and I are just trying to be really active. We're doing something almost every day, just trying to be active. And I'm not saying we work out every day or run 10 miles every day, but we do something just to keep ourselves active every day. And Saturday we wanted to do some at-home exercises that just use body weight, and we had Samuel in his high chair and he was eating some yogurt, and Debbie and me were doing burpees, we were doing chin-ups, we were doing just different stuff, and the whole time Samuel was losing it, laughing, we were dying. Especially when we were doing burpees, man. I haven't done burpees since football. And, Sam's just, Debbie's, out of breath. She's near, passing out. And Sam's just tearing up, crying, laughing. He's not even concerned with the yogurt that we placed in front of him. And, anyway, we were getting finished with the exercises, and he wanted to get down. And so we let him down. And he falls on the floor and tries to do a push-up. And then he realizes he can't do that, so he goes to the couch and tries to do dips. He's trying to do stuff, and then he starts jumping up and down like he was trying to do a burpee. So we found out that exercising is not just something that Debbie and I are going to do, but that we're going to do as a family, because obviously Sam does not want to be left out of that.
Nice.
Because he thinks it's fun. But one day he will realize that it is not fun.
Right.
It is actually very painful.
Right.
Anyway, that was just the moment that I wanted to share this week.
Nah.
Now it's time
That's
for
wonderful.
the most favorite part of this podcast. What the freak? What you got, Camp?
Okay. I have some. Oh boy, I have someone that I despise so much. I think that planet Earth would be so much better without this one person, and if you guys disagree with me, I will probably hate you for the rest of my life. I cannot stand Jaden Smith. Did you?
Yes.
Can we all agree there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
Absolutely.
that Will Smith's son?
Will Smith's
Yes.
son.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
The broom or the mop, the mop head.
Okay, so yeah, first of all, Brandon just mentioned his hair. If you don't know Jaden Smith, I want to encourage you, but at the same time discourage you from Googling him. I think he's got a few music videos out as well. I think he does poetry or whatever. He's definitely out there. But I knew this would be one that we all agree on again. I'm saving a really good one for next week for our 10th episode. I think that that we should make that episode as special as possible. So can't wait for that one. This one, though, I just want to go through some of the tweets that Jaden Smith has given the world. And I want you guys to critique it if you can. The first one that's crazy, he tweeted, it said, first of all, every tweet he does, he capitalizes the first letter in each word for the entire sentence. That's stupid. Don't do that.
That's his thing, camper. Leave him alone.
Yeah, it's stupid. He tweets, it says, jealousy just reassures your love. And not really sure what that means, so we'll leave it at that.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
This one, there's a lot of typos in there. He misspells the word does and your, as in you are. He misspells that. But his tweet says, you do not know who you are or why you're here. So when you see someone who does, the society comes together as a whole and destroys them.
What? Did he just pick random words, string them together, and think it was a coherent sentence?
You guys, I can't even get through this without laughing. The long ones, they're the worst. Okay, so let's see here. This one says, I encourage you all to unfollow me so that I can be left with the people who actually appreciate philosophy and poetry.
He thinks that's philosophy, what he's spitting out? No.
Yeah, I will unfollow you, Jaden Smith. This says, we need to stop teaching the youth about the past and encourage them to change the future. Because, you know, everyone in history who always says forget the past and never learn from it.
How old is he?
I would say he's around our age.
In his young 20s.
Yeah.
So I could fight him and not go to jail for it?
Good luck, man.
Yeah, you would definitely want to punch this guy in the face. I could just tell.
He may be
your personality.
He may be young, but he seems like he's full of wisdom, guys. Come on now, don't fight the guy.
I know who he is. I know who he is, and I had looked up some pictures just a second ago, and I just want to punch him in the face anyway because he's always got this.
Careful, he is the karate.
Yeah, so a couple of movies that he's been in. He did Karate Kid when he was real younger, and he also did After Earth with.
Which was a bomb.
Yeah.
The first 20 pictures I looked at, he looks like he's asleep with his eyes open.
Yeah,
he's
like on the red
or
carpet. And he's on the red carpet of this movie premiere. It's like,
there was a story that came out a few years ago, Jake, that he said that he was going to wear a dress, and I'm not really sure if he followed through with it or not, but
he did, bro.
Yeah, he wore a dress.
He did.
Oh man.
He even did like special like photography. Like he's a model, and he wears like weird clothes.
I can't.
Like,
I don't have a Twitter, but I feel like making a Twitter account, following this guy, unfollowing him, and then deleting my Twitter account.
This guy also wore a white Batman suit to his prom.
What?
Everybody knows Batman is black. He wears black.
He never
in really dark
never
gray.
wears white and really dark gray.
That's a blasphemous thing.
gosh.
Like I just want to punch him just for
An
that.
old school Batman wears a little bit of yellow, but no white, never white.
Okay, so
Does he want people to see him?
so I've got a few more. Let's get through this. I'm having so much trouble doing this because I got to be serious. I want people to understand my hate for him is serious, but when you look at what he says and what he does, you cannot help but laughing. Okay, so here's a tweet. It says, there is no nutrients in our food anymore, or our soil, or, this is in all caps, or in our water.
I don't think there's ever been nutrients in water.
where did the nutrients from the dirt go? Is it just gone? It doesn't exist anymore.
The water washed it away.
Why is it that people are healthy when they eat healthy stuff?
Right.
I'm going to take a stab and say he lives in L.A., so he doesn't experience much soil. I'm not sure, though.
He's one of those guys that probably has a doomsday bunker or something.
Yes. This is one that he tweeted out. It said, "Everyone get off your phones and go do what you actually want to do," as he types from his phone.
What if you want to be on your phone?
What if he wanted to tell people to get off their phones, and the only way he could do it was on his phone? This one says...
I would literally read that and scroll past it and think, oh, don't tell me what to do, punk.
Yeah, if I'm going to listen to anybody, it's not going to be you. This one says, "If everyone in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent society."
What the
No.
Oh, man.
No.
This... Okay, I got to get my composure.
I knew I didn't really like this guy. I haven't really ever paid him much attention, but I really hate this guy.
For the record, a lot of us, if we have a Twitter account, it's easily the most can be the most annoying social media because I feel it's the best platform just to type out and send out whatever's on your mind in the moment. And so we all have some dumb tweets along the way, but we don't match up to this guy. This one's my favorite. This one says, "If newborn babies could speak, they would be the most intelligent beings on planet Earth." I can't. I can't. He tweeted 3 words in this one. It just says, "Education is rebellion." You know, because teachers encourage you to not follow the rules in school.
Education is rebellion.
He says.
But he's also saying that you shouldn't educate yourself.
Right.
We should all drop out, therefore becoming the smartest society ever.
Yeah, he's probably against the school or education system, but he's not against learning in general. I think that's what he's trying to communicate.
Oh, he was probably homeschooled, so that's why he doesn't. I don't know.
It sounds like he didn't go to any kind of school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple more, and I'll finish this off. I'll save the listeners the insanity. He says, "I honestly love when people hate, even when they're close to you," and he misspelled there. He typed THERE.
Yeah.
He tweeted out, he says, "I only apply to the 6th Amendment." Not even sure what that means. And he finally says, "I will always give you the truth. I will never lie to you in my music. If you can't handle my feelings and emotions, please unfollow me." And I think that's the best one to leave it on because I cannot handle his feelings and emotions. And I feel like we should never, ever, ever mention his name again on this great podcast.
Agreed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Camper, go ahead and do your plug.
This week, real quickly, I'm plugging in a book. I have not been reading as much as I would like to, but that is going to change. I am going to finish this book by the weekend and start a new one. But this one specifically is one that released in 2016. It's from the creator of Nike, Phil Knight, and it's entitled Shoe Dog, a memoir by the creator of Nike. So it kind of recounts his story from the very first time that he decided he wanted to spend the rest of his life in the shoe business up until the point where it's at now, about halfway through, but I'll finish it by the weekend. Great book. That's my plug.
My plug for the week, Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel. Got to go there last night with the fiance. I had not seen her in like a week, so I love their sweet tea. And that's what I'm actually plugging is sweet tea. So go get you some delicious sweet tea from Cracker Barrel because they have the absolute best sweet tea consistently.
Okay.
Nice. That's a very good one. I would like to plug Dawn Dish Soap. All right. So I have a small dog in the form of a young puppy, and she has picked up fleas from somewhere. I think I went home a few weeks ago, and she got to interact with my dog back home, or our dog back home, who has had fleas probably his entire life. So he shared them with her. But this Dawn soap does a fantastic job of killing fleas, y'all. So for those of you who have dogs right here in the squad, or those of you listening, if you have a dog and want to help alleviate some of the flea problem, use some Dawn dish soap. It works wonders.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Not a sponsor.
But they should be.
My plug for the week, I actually have 3 plugs for the week, but they all are in the same thing. I'm plugging in Need to Breathe, Hans Zimmer, and Imagine Dragons. Those 3 forms of, or those 3 artists helped me get through my run today.
Yeah.
So if you're ever running or you ever just want to listen to some great music, go listen to Need to Breathe, Imagine Dragons, and then the Hans Zimmer.
Sweet, sweet.
Good
All
stuff.
right. Well, that's going to round out our individual segments, so we're going to go ahead and move into a couple of announcements that we have for you. Camper, what you got for the people?
We are recording this Tuesday night. You will receive this in 1 week after I edit it and enjoy my vacation. But there should be a blog on our website already released by the time you listen to this. And it is written by me, something that I have yet to submit to the rest of the group to look at. I'm finishing it tonight. I'm pretty excited about it. If you're into that kind of thing, we'll give you a link to our website. We'll give you a direct link to the blog on our Facebook page, and you can check it out there. The title of it is Where Do We Find Our Inspiration? So that said, who's got the next?
Hopefully not
announcement?
Jaden Smith.
Right, not Jaden Smith.
So next thing, the T-shirts, they're starting to come in. So we've already had a few of them come in. People have been getting them. They've been sending them to us on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. So when yours comes in, if you got one, which you should have, if you didn't, maybe you'll have a chance later. But when you get it, snap a picture, send it to us on whatever platform is easiest for you, and we'll give you a shout out.
All right, and if you have been tracking with us this whole time, then you should know our social media handles by now. On Facebook, just type in The Squad Life Podcast. Should pull us up. Go ahead and like that page for us. If you are a Twitter user, go to, or just type in wherever you type in on Twitter. I'm not familiar with that, but at @the_Squad Life should pull it up that way. And if you like what you've been hearing all this time, go ahead and tell your friends, tell your family. Let them know that you have been entertained and want them to be entertained by us as well.
Sweet, sweet.
Good
All
stuff.
right. And last announcement is if you like the podcast, you like what you're listening to, you like the content we're putting out, be sure to drop a review for us on Apple, Google Play, or even Facebook. We got a review on our Facebook page just this past week from Lauren Stewart. She gave us a 5 out of 5, and she also responded to our Facebook post, what the freak, what's something that just gets on your nerves. She responded by saying that driving other drivers in the city of Meridian really make her say, what the freak. So be looking out on our Facebook page. We're going to give you more opportunities to interact with stuff like that. So that's it for this episode. Our next episode will be our 10th episode, and we're planning something big. So be sure that you listen to this one and then listen to that one.
That's right, that's right. Hey, Jake, Spicy White Lee. Hit him with a see ya.
See ya!
Everybody knows Batman is black.